In this video, we're going to kick off the section by learning how we can enable timestamps for our Mongoose models. So we'll be doing this for both our users and our tasks. Now, if we head over to the database viewer Robo3T, we can take a look at our data and we have these same fields for users and tasks we've had for a while. What we're going to be doing here is enabling an option that's going to add two new fields, one called created at and another called updated at. Both are going to store timestamps, so they're going to store the moment in time when that event occurred. So for users and tasks, we'll know when the user first signed up or when the task is created, and we'll also know when the user or task was last updated, giving us more information that we can use when building out our apps. Now, enabling it is really easy. We're going to start by working through the process with the user model together. Then as your challenge for the video, you'll do the same thing for the task model. To enable timestamps, we have to customize the schema we've created. So we have to customize our call to Mongoose schema right here on line 7. Now currently we're passing to that function a single argument. It is the object that starts right here and ends way down below after the last field we've set up. In order to specify our schema options, we actually provide a second argument, which is also an object. On this second argument, we can go ahead and use some of the options available to us, and the one we're going to explore for the moment is timestamps. Now, we're going to set timestamps equal to true to enable them. By default, this option is set to false. Now that we have this in place, anytime we create a new user, they're going to be created with those two additional fields, allowing us to track when they were created and when they were last updated. To get started, what we're going to do is wipe our database for the last time. In this section, we're going to be working with a few things that'll be much easier to work with if we have very consistent data. And what I mean by that is if me and you are working with the same data, it'll be easier to watch the videos. So we're going to start from scratch just one last time in this section by deleting that database. Now with the database gone and our server still running in Visual Studio Code, all we have to do is to run over to Postman and create a new user. And that is exactly what we're going to do. I'll head over to the Create User request. I'm going to fire this off, and right away we see something a bit different. On the user property, we have those two fields showing up. I have created at right here, and I have updated at just below with the timestamp for each. So this timestamp is something we can use on the server. It's also something that the client could use when rendering the content to the browser. So now that we have this enabled for users, we're going to end up doing the exact same thing for tasks. Let's go ahead and talk about what I'd like you to do as your challenge for the video. And the process is going to be very similar to what we just did. The only difference is that there is going to be one additional step, since remember, currently we are not creating a separate schema for the task. We're still passing that object in as the second argument to model, as opposed to creating the schema first and providing that. This is what we did with the user model, so we could add on all of those additional features, and it's what you're going to need to do as part of the challenge. So right here, what you're going to do is refactor the task model to add timestamps. First up, you have to refactor it to explicitly create a schema and provide that to Mongoose model, just like we did with the user model several sections ago. Then you're going to enable the timestamp option, which we just did for user. And finally, you're going to create some tasks in Postman and make sure that you are seeing the created at and updated at field for each. So take some time to knock that out, test your work, and when you're done, come back and click play. How'd that go? Let's go ahead and get to it by defining the schema first. So right here, we'll start with step 1 by explicitly creating the schema, a new constant to store that. You could have called this whatever you liked. I'm going to call it task schema. And then we're going to create the new schema just like we did for the user model. It is the new operator with mongoose.S schema. And what do we provide as that first argument? We provide the object with our attributes defined. This is what we're currently passing in as the second argument to model. I'm going to highlight it. cut it out of its current location and paste it right up above inside of those parentheses. So now we have the schema in place, and down below, we're going to pass that in as the second argument to mongoose.model. Now, the whole reason we're doing this is so we can take advantage of all of the things we can only customize when we have an explicitly created schema, such as our schema options, where we enable the timestamps. So down below, we can do just that. Right here, we're going to provide that second argument to the schema function. It is an object, and we're going to set timestamps, plural, equal to true. Now, with this in place, we can test our work by creating some tasks and making sure those timestamps show up. What I'm going to do is remove the challenge comments. I'm going to save the task model, and we'll simply create a couple new tasks for that new user over inside of Postman. Right here, what I'm going to do is use create task to define one, find a new job. I'll send that off, and down below, what do we have? We have 201 created, and we have our new task with all of the same data we had before, with the addition of the 2 new timestamps showing up down below. So now that we have this in place, we have just a little more data for each of the documents in our database, making it more useful and easier to work with. This could be used for sorting, filtering, or anything else your application needs. That's where we're going to stop for this video. In the next video, we're going to continue on and learn how we can set up our routes to filter data, allowing the user to hone in on what exactly they want so they don't get unnecessary data back. I'm excited to get to that. Let's jump right in to the next one.